Today I'm reacting to season 1 of Bridgerton, especially around the Duke and the trauma that he's received from his horrible father, and how the revenge that he's seeking is actually preventing him from achieving the happiness he really wants.
Talk to me, damn you!
You are scaring me.
And if that's what it should take, I shall get a sound from him still.
No!
What did you say?
Do not.
What is he doing?
Oh, what a horrible thing for a father to do, a child struggling to speak and then hitting them. No. And he stood up to him, which is amazing. So go, Simon. But, oh, my heart breaks when he's struggling to speak and to tell his father not to hit him. Oh, but that vulnerability that he's showing his father that he has a stutter is now going to cause a whole load of problems for him, which is so sad.
Hastings' name cannot land in the quivering hands of a half-wit! Get him out of my sight. This boy is dead to me.
Oh, such an understandable reaction of a child when verbally yelled at by his father, and also the horrible things he's saying about him, to break down into tears. I could see my son's just a bit older than 4 doing exactly that, and just very vulnerable state and completely helpless, and even though he's been standing up to his father, you know, he is at his father's mercy at that age. So very traumatic situation.
I wrote to you many times to let you know I'm not dead. Did you receive my letters?
You are as useless as your mother proved to be. So, I shall pursue the same course with you as I did with her. To forget that you ever sullied these halls.
The letters, and he never read them. Didn't even deign to open them. Oh. And there, as a young man, he's standing there, you know, so proud of himself that he's worked through his stutter mostly, and it seems like it actually gets triggered by stress, which his father's just push for perfection just makes it so difficult for him to speak, which is so frustrating when it's clear that he's trying really hard, and then, you know, he's written these letters because he's so proud of what he's done, and the father's just completely rejecting that. And there he's in the stage where he is really wanting to make his father proud. He wants to get his father's love, and for his father to turn around and, you know, abusive physically to start with, and now he is just completely this abandonment and emotional neglect by completely turning his back on his son at this age. It's understandable that this will leave a mark on Simon.
For I've only returned to do with one thing. To make you a vow. I will never marry. I will never sire an heir. The Hastings line will die with me.
Oh, the one thing his father cared about his line going forward. And the sad thing here is, it's understandable that Simon wants to get back at his father for the hurt that he has caused. But the problem is, by saying, I will never marry and I will never have children, he's also saying that he's never going to let himself have family. And that's the thing that his father really deprived him of, was family. That he never had that closeness, that connection. And unfortunately, in him trying to rebel against his father and get revenge on his father by never getting married and never having children, he's setting himself up for a lifetime of loneliness, which is the very hurt that his father caused, which is just, it's just so sad that he's kind of decided that is going to be his way of getting back.
You must know, if we were to wed, I can never give you children. It is your dream to be a mother, is it not?
yeah, it is clearly that she really wants to have children, and a massive sacrifice for her not having kids. You can see how sad it makes her to give up on that dream. The problem is he's not telling her the whole story. He's saying, I'll never be able to give you children, but he's not telling her that he's choosing not to, not that he can't have children, which understandably she's going to be pretty pissed about when she finds out.
You knew that becoming a mother one day, to have a family of my own one day, you knew that was all I ever wanted.
I was prepared to die on that dueling field. Rather than marry you and take your dream away, I would have died for you. You were the one who insisted on this union. You told me I was enough.
That was before I knew you.
Oh, that's painful. Oh, especially because like all of this has come from the trauma of him not being good enough for his father, for Daphne, the person that he has loved, that he's decided to be vulnerable with, to turn around and say something like that is just devastating for Simon, and clearly that's a big part of his trauma. Yes, his father beat him and treated him as if he was dead and rejected and forgot about him. The big thing that he was communicated is, you're not enough, you're not good enough, and now Daphne's reinforcing that, which is so problematic for him improving and getting better and working through this. But understandably, she would react like that he didn't tell her, he didn't communicate to her why he wasn't going to give children, and so she was going to react like this when she found out. And I'm not condoning what she does, because in the series she takes advantage of him sexually so that she can get pregnant, and I do not condone that. And he has betrayed her by not giving her enough of the information so she could make a choice about her future.
Let me be certain I understand. You will neither have children, nor the happiness we could have together, because you promised your father you would not. If your hatred for your father outweighs any affection that you might bear towards me, then you are right. It cannot be undone.
And this is the hard thing with this honour of keeping my word and my promise, you know, making a horrible promise that sets up a horrible life for him because of how his father was. And one where, you know, he was going to die before. He was saying, you know, he'd die for her rather than, you know, get her in the situation. But he's like throwing his life away because of what his father did. And here he's not willing to have the happiness with her. He's sticking to this promise that he's made, and it's destroying everything around him. And I can see that he wants to be a person of his word, but he made a stupid promise. Oh, she's really hoping she's pregnant. She wants a baby. It's so clear. Ah, now he's seeing this. Oh, it must be painful for Simon knowing.
Are you ready?
I am.
Oh, it's cool to see him reaching out and trying to reconnect with her. And she seems happy about that too. You know, he's trying, and you can see the ice kind of melting a bit because they've really been at each other's throats for a while after what happened. Oh. It's not right. Oh dear. Oh, her one chance. And understandably, she's absolutely devastated. And this is the thing that we're starting to see with Simon, you know. He's really seeing the pain he's causing, but the thing that he's doing is he's internalizing it as another form of he's not good enough. He's not enough, and he's causing this pain, and he's blaming himself for Daphne having got together with him. But yeah, it's such a horrible situation, and they need to communicate. They need to understand each other and talk more about this, and this cold shoulder thing that they're giving each other is not helping them. But Oh, poor Daphne, devastated there, understandably.
Do I not deserve an explanation as your wife?
You deserve more than that, indeed. You may not understand this now, but Daphne, you must know. I am doing this for your own good.
I can decide for myself.
You'll be better off without me.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is that he thinks people are better off without him, and he's been taught by his father, you know, that people will reject him, but he's taken on as that they leave him because they're better off without him, which is just not the case. And it's so sad that because he believes that about himself, he's now taking actions and doing things that lead to perpetuating that belief, and that he leaves because he thinks that's what's best, and then it reinforces, and oh, it's the cycle. Oh, it's so painful. She found the letters. Yay! Hopefully she can have a bit of an understanding now of what's going on. I'm glad she opened them. I'm glad she was nosy in this case. She needed to. And then I'm glad that she just found something to get some more information, because he wasn't giving her any, so good on her sleuthing skills.
Simon cannot be any more different from a man such as that.
Of course, we know that to be true, Your Grace.
This is the thing, like, having talking to Lady Danbury, she's like, you know, Simon's so different from his father, but Simon doesn't realise that. And I think this is another thing that's dawning on Daphne, is he's not just scared of breaking his word, he's scared of becoming a father and being a father like his father was. He doesn't want to be that for his children. Unfortunately, his behaviour by leaving Daphne and by treating her the way he has, he is kind of behaving like his father in that whole leaving and treating her like she doesn't exist. And it's just, oh, that perpetuation of the problem is going on. But he needs to know that she doesn't see him like his father.
Pride, Your Grace. It will cost you everything and leave you with nothing. You must not allow it to happen to you too.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's his pride around that promise, I think, that he wants to be a person of his word, and he couldn't live with himself if he isn't, but the damage that it's causing by him not deciding to have a loving relationship with Daphne because of what he's been through, and because of this horrible, horrible promise to his father to live a miserable life, basically, to spite him. Yeah, I love that Lady Danbury is such a great influence in that. She really calls him on his stuff. She has put in the investment into the relationship, and that she's been there for him since he was very young, and so she can pull him up on his BS, which is really good. Like, she is the mother to him, the person, the adult in his life that cared about him. And this is the thing, that children really just need one adult who believes in them, one adult who loves them, for them to succeed. And he's become successful. He is an amazing person because of her investment in him. He needs to realize that he is, and that he deserves love and happiness. He deserves family.
I love all of you.
Yay!
Even the parts that you believe are too dark and too shameful. Every scar, every flaw, every imperfection. I love you. You may think you are too damaged and too broken to ever allow yourself to be happy, but you can choose differently, Simon. You can choose to love me as much as I love you.
I love that over that period of getting understanding, Daphne understanding the situation, understanding his hurt, and that this revengeful act is just masking this little boy who didn't feel good enough for his father, and this man who has fears of being a terrible father. And it's just so beautiful that with that understanding, and her actually also realizing, you know, she's not perfect. she made some mistakes, and so she's turning around and she's being like, I love you, I love all of you, I love everything that you think is unlovable. I love that, and you can choose to love me too, and we can make this work. And I just love that she does that for him, and she is able to give him, after telling him he wasn't enough, it's great for her to come back and kind of repair that. So valuable and so important.
I do not want to be alone. I know that now.
Yes.
And what I do not know is how to be the man you need me to be.
Yes. You do.
Daphne.
I know you do. You stay. You stay, and we get through this.
And this is the thing, is that it's great that he's realizing he doesn't want to be alone, and that promise he made was just a sort of reinforcing and cementing loneliness in his life, rather than pushing back against his father. It was actually embracing what his father had given him. And so it's wonderful that he is now opening himself up, and it's vulnerable, and he doesn't feel like he can be what she needs. And it's so beautiful that she's pushing back and saying, you can do this. You just stay and we work it out. We figure out how to be together. I love that she's not this pinnacle of perfection. She's made mistakes. She realizes that. And she's saying, hey, we need to figure out this life thing together. And I think there's a beautiful thing about when you've been through trauma, when you're struggling, when you have these beliefs about yourself, that your partner comes together with you and goes, hey, we're all broken, we've all made mistakes, and we can work through this together. And you, wherever you're at, you are deserving of love, deserving of connection, and just need to engage and stick in there, and you can figure it out and work through it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. If you did like it, please leave a comment and let me know what you thought about Simon's arc and his pain, but also his growth. Awesome. See you next time.
You may think you are too damaged and too broken to ever allow yourself to be happy, but you can choose differently, Simon.